Sega.
Baku Baku, or Baku Baku Animal as it's known in some regions, is a somewhat odd puzzle game where you play as a wannabe royal zookeeper and have to feed animals by connecting them to their favourite food, in a game reminiscent of Puyo Puyo. Similar to that game, you take on a range of opponents in increasingly difficult levels. The game also supports a 2-player mode. First, we'll look at the arcade original from 1995, running on Sega's STV hardware. This I'll emulate using MAME. Then we'll take a look at the somewhat reduced PC port from 1996, which I'm running on Windows 10 using DXWND to fix the many graphical issues this game has. The arcade version released on the STV hardware, but only in Japan. It's pretty much identical to the Japanese Sega Saturn version. The cabinet shown here I mocked up, but it's the sort of game that could be seen running in a Sega Astro City unit. The game came on a cartridge as shown, and the other 3 shots are some of the game running on a CRT screen from real hardware. It's hard to find much footage of the real arcade version online. The game begins with the title screen, where eyes watch you from the jungle, before the logo drops in. The name Baku Baku is meant to sound like animals eating, apparently. The title screen is then followed by a lengthy story telling how the princess wants to look after a lot of animals as she's kind, but she's also pretty useless at looking after them all, so the king and his minister advisor decide they need a royal zookeeper who will be determined by a competition, which is the game itself. You then see a how to play sequence, which shows how the animals will eat their chosen food, like the dog eating a bone. The monkey likes bananas, the panda's fond of bamboo, and the rabbit enjoys carrots. The animals and food are colour coordinated. There is, on higher difficulty levels, a mouse too, who obviously likes cheese. The demo shows how you can organise food and cause chain reactions, with chain reactions sending blocks over to your rival, similar to Puyo Puyo's 2-player mode. Next up is a rolling demo of the game in action, here showing the practice stage Master Piggy rival. The high scores are then displayed, and the intro repeats. When you start the game, you can choose between 1 and 2-player. In 1-player mode there's a practice level, a normal and a harder level. We'll start with the practice level here. You play as Polly, trying to beat all the rivals and win the Royal Zookeeper role. The 2 characters have a little chat, and then the practice stage begins. I find in this game there's a degree of planning and strategy, but you're also very beholden to what blocks you happen to get next. It's not easy, and as things gradually get faster, you can find yourself failing pretty rapidly. However, in this case I beat Master Piggy fairly easily, so it's onto the needle-twirling Nurse Grape, for a battle in the desert oasis. Funnily enough, this background also appeared behind the characters on the European box art of Sonic Jam on the Sega Saturn. At some points in the level you get some golden bonus coins. These will delete all the blocks of the type they touch, so use them well. It can be the difference between success and failure. Here they saved me from failure at the last minute. But it's not long until the computer rains blocks on me and I run out of space. A lion then threatens to eat you, unless you insert a coin. If you don't, you get to enter your name in the high score table. Let's now try the normal level against this, green duck alien hybrid thing apparently called Gallopy. Hey, it's Japanese, anything goes. It's not long before we're both filling the screen with blocks, but as the game speed increases, it's me that struggles, until predictably, it's lion time. The harder level pitches you against a silver character, a bit reminiscent of Durao from Virtua Fighter, but here called Angela. It's important to note that whichever level you choose will give you a range of different opponents. However, this level again starts in the same desert oasis that was seen in the second practice stage. Being much faster than the normal level, it's obviously not long until I get wiped out again. So that gives you a flavour of each starting level. I then went into the arcade dip switches and dropped the difficulty down to easy to see if I can get any further. Let's go with the practice stage again, as it's slow enough for my brain to cope with. This time I once again smash the piggy in stage 1 and move on to the nurse. And this time, at reduced difficulty, I managed to beat her too. The final practice stage pitches you against Gon, who is the rival potential zookeeper candidate and the character the second player plays in 2-player mode. He's suitably tricky, and after a while, I'm lion food. I insert another virtual coin, and again, it doesn't go well. One more coin, and it's third time lucky. I beat Gon, and I'm rewarded with Master Piggy suggesting I play normal difficulty. It's a bit of a letdown after all that gameplay, but I presume that's what happens in a practice mode. At least I get to enter my name in the high score table. Here's a minute of this version without me talking over it. The PC version released in 1996, and being one of Sega's earliest PC games, is pretty basic. It released in a range of different boxes worldwide. The one on the left, and CD-ROM, is my own copy that I bought from eBay, hence the second-hand seller stamps on the disc. The other boxes show the US and Japanese releases. Note how they call the game just Baku Baku, where the arcade has the word animal as well. When you start the PC version, you immediately find the major issue, in that it only runs in a tiny 320 by 224 pixel window. This might have been almost a quarter of the screen on early Windows 95 PCs running 640 by 480 resolution, but here it's tiny. The music in this version is played via MIDI, so it's okay sounding. The menus allow you to start arcade, 2-player and ranking games, as well as a selection of options to tweak the difficulty and controls. You can also set the background design at any point in the game. Anyway, let's expand the picture to full screen by capturing the window alone in OBS. As you can see, it now has the full Baku Baku Animal World Zookeeper Contest title. But there's a lot lacking on this version, notably the entire story. There's no cutscenes, no characters, no chats, nothing. Just the basic game itself. So let's start the arcade game. Here there's no option to choose between practice, normal or harder levels. You just start with Gallopy, the normal stage rival, on this very basic background. They likely simplified the background due to the PC version only running in 256 colours. As I get close to beating my rival, you see the next big issue. On the PC version, they decided to change music when a player gets close to filling their board. However, every time the music changes to a higher speed, more stressful piece of music, the game pauses to load up the MIDI file. This leads to some annoying pauses that really harm the gameplay as the game switches between music repeatedly. Eventually I beat Gallopy and he's eaten. Next up is Angela, and here I'll change the background, which also changes the music. It's a pretty novel approach to let the player decide how they want the game to look. Let's try another background. The nice blue sky background looks fairly pretty, and it's easy to see what's going on. The final background is this jungle-themed one, essentially the background from the title screen. It has, objectively, the catchiest music. But here the constant pauses become just annoying. The game becomes more pauses than gameplay. And then what happens is the computer gets the golden bonus coins, wipes out most of their stack, and leaves me in trouble. The pauses don't help at all here. However, after a lot more back and forth, I eventually beat her. Nom nom. This next character is a soldier or guard, and looks like he's wearing some sort of Viking bucket on his head. This game goes on for a while, and whilst his eyes start popping out, it's not long until he beats me. and then it's back to the title screen. Let's check out the ranking mode. Here you play through the game again, but in an exam format. I smash Gallopy this time, and earn a score breakdown. The next exam is against Angela. I'm changing backgrounds for variety here. It builds up between us until we both use golden coins to pull us back from the edge. Eventually a nice munch from my animals wipes her out totally. The Soldier Guard character is next, and they eventually beat me. You then get, after being eaten, a certificate depending on how well you did. There's no way to end this screen apart from choosing another game type from the menu. And here's a quick look at the 2-player mode. As you can see, the nice opening arcade background does make an appearance here, but only on the difficulty select screen. If you beat the 2-player mode, you see Polly, and then Gon being eaten by a lion. They don't appear anywhere else in the game though. Here's a minute of this version, massive pauses and all. Let's compare both versions at the pixel level. Both the arcade and PC version run at 320 by 224 pixel resolution. First up, here's the Japanese arcade version, which has notably more colours than the PC version, which has just 256 colours. Note how the Sega logo is noticeably dithered here. Next up, here's the arcade's Gallopy stage with its cute pre-rendered backdrop. Wiping across to the PC version's standard opening background shows everything's a bit darker and gloomier. Here's the arcade's Oasis stage with Angela. Let's wipe across to the sky background on the PC. It's colourful, but not quite the same. Finally, here I am being eaten. Check out the 3D look shading on the lion. The PC version again uses obvious dithering, given it only has as many colours as an animated GIF. Let's put both versions head to head now, at least on the Gallopy and Angela stages, so you can see how they both compare. The PC version's music will differ here due to the user being able to select which tune plays by changing the background. The arcade original version is a fairly unique game with an unusual storyline. Gameplay-wise, it's not much different to Puyo Puyo, but the use of animals and food adds a unique twist. This game is generally less well known than Puyo Puyo, Columns and Tetris though. The PC port is as bare bones as it can get. The gameplay shines through, but the tiny window, pausing music issue and general lack of presentation makes it feel like a fan port, rather than a full price release. It's a shame, as a proper working translated version could have been a winner. If you like this comparison of Baku Baku Animal, then give it a like, or subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment, etc. and join me next time to shoot even more bad guys.